Damien ruins horror movies. Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Damien Ruins Horror Movies. My name is Damien. Check out this lightsaber. It's a lamp. And it's a lot bluer in real life. It's just not that blue on the screen. I don't know why. And it doesn't get hot no matter how long you leave it on. It's pretty cool. I got it at Target. $25. You know what would make it cooler though? Two things. One, if when you turn it on, it wouldn't make that sound. And two, if you could click and change what color it was instead of it having to be blue. But it's pretty cool. I like it. It was one of those things where I was not looking for it. I was walking, I glanced and saw it on the shelf and was like, didn't stop. I just stuck my arm out like a football and ran all the way to the checkout and paid. Should have just ran out of the store and stole it. Just kidding. And tonight's movie, as you already know, because you clicked on it and saw the cover and all that stuff, is Humanoids from the Deep. A 1980 gem. I am on a 80s kick lately since I started doing this. I like 80s horror movies. And hey, this one's going to be different though because I'm not doing a slasher. This one is a creature feature. It's directed by Barbara Peters and Jimmy T. Murakami. And we're going to just jump right in. It takes place in it's a fishing town. Salmon is their big thing. First characters we meet is Tommy and Jimmy. They're brothers. Jimmy's the older brother, significantly older. He's the Ron White looking motherfucker. And then we meet Hank. He's the political, I don't know what Hank's title is, but he seems to kind of be, he's not the mayor, but he seems to be in charge of the town. And he seems mildly racist as we meet Johnny Eagle, the Native American. Back then it was pronounced Indian. Johnny is not in favor of, well, we'll get more into it in a little bit, but there's a cannery that's coming in that's going to change things, and Johnny's against that. And so since Hank's into money, and he's like basically a politician, that makes him against Johnny. Shortly after, there's a boat explosion, and it was not, we get a glimpse of the humanoids, but it was not caused by the humanoids. I mean, in a sense it was, but it was the Abe Lincoln looking driver guy and his flare gun and a lot of spilled gasoline. Jimmy's nearby and sees it. And later on that night, they're at Jimmy's house. And they're talking, they're like, that's weird, the boats just don't explode. But they have no idea what caused it. Jimmy's dog, Baron, goes outside. And the next day, they notice Baron's missing, so they go looking for him. Jimmy's girlfriend, Carol, goes to the doghouse to see if Baron's in his home. And we get this ridiculous cat jump scare. Meanwhile in town, Hank and his goons are unloading a plethora of white trash Olympia beer for the gala that's going to happen that night. It's the 75th annual Salmon Festival, where they will be making the big announcement. But as the guys are unloading the beer to go in there, they walk up the dog and they start seeing that their dogs have been slaughtered. Every 5 feet is another dead dog. And then they get to the end, they see Johnny Eagle's dog, who looks like the dog from The Thing. That dog's alive and well, so, they put two and two together. It's like, I think Johnny's trying to prove a point. Johnny killed all of our dogs. That guy's trying to make a statement, which is a weird way to make a statement if that were true. But and I forgot to mention, but we see Baron get killed by one of the humanoids. And it's kind of weird because it's not often that you see, in this movie so far, we've seen a kid get killed because he fell off the boat right before it exploded. He actually caused the explosion because he spilled all that gas and then he fell off the boat. Then a humanoid got him. You don't really see his death, but Baron's death, we see that. But right as Hank and his goons are noticing all the dead watchdogs. We fade back to Jimmy and Carol finding what's left of Baron. So that night, at the 75th Annual Salmon Festival, the announcement is made and it is official that the cannery has come. That's like the big business, the big corporation. They are now corporate. The cannery has come. They have their own doctor, Dr. Drake, who is a female. And not to be confused, because as I'm watching this, as I was writing notes down, I kept, every time I wrote Dr. Drake, I was thinking Dr. Dre. She looks nothing like Dr. Dre. But she is working on a little experiment it somehow multiplies or grows the size of the salmon, so they get bigger salmon, so they're producing. It's like hormones in chickens, except they were doing this shit in 1980, man. It's probably where the chicken farmers got the idea to put fucking steroids and hormones and shit in the chickens. They watch this, they're like, hey, what they did was salmon. But this movie is not sci-fi, but like sci-fi movies, it shows the repercussions of messing with nature and trying to enhance things. It never ends well. In every sci-fi book, story, movie, has demonstrated this point over and over again for like the last 120 years. People keep still doing it. Like, oh, I know what we can do. It's like, it all ends bad. Terminator. The Fly. The Fly, he fucked with nature in The Fly, and he got fucked. Turned into a fly. All right. But the cannery coming in, more salmon going out, means more jobs for the people. Yay! Big win for everybody. Everybody except for Johnny Lightning. Johnny Lightning. Everybody except for Johnny Eagle, who comes in, and it's kind of like the music stopping. The turntable scratching, the record just as he walks in holding his dead dog from the thing, and he's like, you did this, and Hank's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but clearly Hank knows exactly what he's talking about, because Johnny's dog is carryable, and it's not too disgusting. The other dogs were not carryable. You could not pick up the other dogs. You had to scrape those dogs. Those dogs were like pile of dog. Johnny's dog was like, I don't know, it's messed up. Because they made that assumption. They took out his dog to send a statement back, and they had no proof of anything. And poor Johnny didn't even know that happened. Meanwhile, Tommy's friend Chachi, his name's not really Chachi, his name's Jerry. He reminds me of Scott Baio a little bit. And so far we've met him twice. The first time we meet him, he's picking up his girlfriend Peggy to come to this event. But he's trying to fuck her. And then this next time, he lures her out to the back of Tommy's truck, which has a canopy on it. And once again, is trying to fuck her. It's like, why are you in this movie? All you're doing is trying to get laid. And you give nothing to the plot. So Hank's goons take Johnny outside. There's a little bit of trash talking. And then one of his goons is holding Johnny, so Hank hits him a little. It's kind of a fight. I mean, they start hitting each other back and forth, and then Johnny's outnumbered. So the other guys, Jimmy, his brother, and some other, they come out. A brawl ensues, and everybody's just beating the shit out of each other for a while. And even Chachi gets involved because he sticks his head out of the back of the canopy. He's like, what's going on out here? And somebody clocks him in his eye, which is really funny looking. It's also funny because this movie spans a day or two, and the brawl happens. So everybody's beat up for the rest of the movie. Everybody has a black eye. Every scene after. It's not like, and then a week later this happened. It's like the next day, and everybody wakes up there faces are all fucked up. So the next day, Hank spies on Johnny and finds out that Johnny's got a big shot lawyer. And he's serious about this, and he's going to try and bring it down. And that's just not a good thing for Hank. That goes against all of Hank's dreams and efforts. Meanwhile, Chachi now has his girl at the beach and he's trying to fuck her. But he makes the fatal mistake of taking her to the water. And after like faking getting pulled under 5 times, finally he really gets pulled under. And of course she doesn't really believe him. And then he gets killed by a humanoid. And then the humanoid rapes Peggy, Chachi's girlfriend. Yeah, pulls her up to the beach and rapes her. Fucking humanoids. And not too far away, Dr. Drake is starting to realize something's up. Or at least we as the viewer can tell that Dr. Drake knows something's up. A little later that night, Hank goes and meets his goons, his buddies at the bar. Tells them, hey man, he's got a lawyer. Like he's really planning to do something. So we got to take him out. Elsewhere, Johnny is hanging out with Jimmy and Tommy and Tommy's girl. And Johnny's just basically, he's kind of like thanking Jimmy for standing up for him and intervening, not just standing aside. Because, and that's kind of the thing that this movie shows. That's kind of cool. Because Jimmy's for the cannery. Jimmy benefits from the cannery. But he doesn't like Hank. He thinks Hank's a piece of shit. But he's for the cannery. He's for the salmon and everything that they're doing. Johnny's against all of it. Johnny doesn't really benefit from it because Johnny doesn't want to play ball. Johnny's Native American. He's, the land is sacred. He doesn't want it turned into an industrial area. He wants it to be pure the way it was, more or less. And Jimmy's like, well, no. But Jimmy's like, I like you. You're a good dude. So if somebody's doing wrong to you, even though I don't have the same belief as you, I'm not going to just step aside while somebody beats your ass and does shit, So it's admirable. And in this day and time that we live in, there's a weird thing because I think we lost that where people shit on each other if they believe different things. Where it's like, oh, you believe that? Well, then you're stupid. And doesn't mean people want to see harm done to another, but like people, I don't know, it seems like lately, and by lately I mean the last few years, people are having a hard time separating. It's like, well, that's what you think and maybe I can convince you otherwise, but I know you and I still know that you're a cool person. We don't believe the same thing, so maybe I can tell you stuff and you'll see where I'm coming from. Or maybe I can listen to you and I can see where you're coming from. And maybe we can get to the bottom of it. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, what Jimmy demonstrates in this movie is, I don't agree with where you're coming from. I know where you're coming from. I don't think what's happening bad. I benefit from it. The town benefits from it. But it also does help the town to take over. And it takes away. And that's the problem with technology and just growth in general. There's going to be more and more people, and there's going to be more people in an area than that. It doesn't necessarily, it destroys the land to an extent, but it takes over the land. It turns it into something different. But the fact that Jimmy was able to stick up for Johnny anyway, I guess it'd be more noble if he liked Hank, but he's like, Hank, you're wrong. And then he was like, bitch. But instead he's like, I don't like Hank, and I got an excuse to hit him, bitch. But he still stuck up for Jimmy, or for Johnny. And Johnny appreciated it. And that was cool. And Jimmy leaves, and Tommy and his girl, Linda, that's her name. Tommy and Linda, Johnny invites Tommy and Linda he's like, I got a bunch of steelheads. See, he's not against fishing. He's against industry. And his area, his land being industrialized. He invites them. He's like, I've got a shitload of steelhead. You guys should come up for dinner. They're like, all right, cool. And they go up and they have dinner. Jimmy goes somewhere else. I don't know where Jimmy goes. Next, a random couple is having some sex on the beach. And not the kind you drink. And we get some boobage. Until a cock-blocking humanoid comes in and kills the guy and rapes the girl. Which was kind of funny. Not that she got raped. Isn't that funny that I have to say, she got raped, that's fucked up, the guy gets killed. don't care about that. But no, what is kind of funny is that like Hellraiser it's got a warning on IMDb if you look it up and if you scroll down it says like nudity. It's like severe nudity. This movie got moderate nudity, and it's got the boobage. Like I think there's 3 times, but this girl in particular like tries to escape from the humanoid, and she's running down the beach naked, like Pee-wee from Porky's, just hauling, and she's a girl, so there's a lot of moving parts at play, and it's like, it's moderate. The Hellraiser, what did we see in Hellraiser? Like a butt cheek? Like half a butt cheek for half a second? I mean, granted, it was the ultimate nudity. I think I already made this joke, but yeah, the skin was off, so technically the guy trying to come back was like severely naked. Like, are you severely naked? Look, you don't even have any skin on. But it's like, what kind of ranking system is this? If I was basing it on like, well, that says moderate nudity, my kid could watch this, I'd be like, oh my god. Depending, which I don't really care if my kid sees nudity. It's I don't want my kid watching people fuck. That's a different story. So back at Johnny's, he and Tommy, I like the names of the movie. This is Johnny, this is Jimmy, this is Tommy. Even the girls have kind of like plain, like this is Peggy, Linda, and Carol. It's like the whitest names ever. But they're hanging out, and Hank and his goons, Hank, pretty basic name. So was this movie made in fucking 1940 or 1840? Hank and his goons, they roll up and they got a Molotov cocktail. And they throw it at Johnny's house. They don't know that Tommy and Linda are there. They throw it at the house. And it explodes. Is it normal for a Molotov? Is that how you say it? Molotov? That's how it's spelled. Is it normal for a Molotov cocktail to make to make 3 explosions? Because it was like, and it wasn't like it hit something. It wasn't like it hit an incendiary object and triggered another explosion, which triggered another. It was like the one bottle just like blew up 3 times and kind of scattered. It was like, Jesus Christ. It's like, what kind of budget they got for explosions? Because we got the boat at the beginning. Then we got the Molotov that blew up 3 times. Oh, and then Hank and his goons get out of there. So Johnny didn't get hurt. Tommy got hurt. Tommy got fucked up. But Linda had already left. Or she's in the truck and she's leaving to go get help or something. And so Johnny saves Tommy. But Linda's driving and she gets attacked by a humanoid. And she ends up driving off a bridge. And she didn't land in water. So then her truck fucking explodes. Actually, it's Johnny's truck. I think it's Johnny. Was it Tommy's truck? I don't know. It wasn't her truck. But it blows up and she dies. I mean, glass half full. She didn't get raped. She died though. And that was like the 5th explosion? It's like, where are they getting this explosion budget from? Got a boat, a Molotov cocktail that explodes 3 times, a truck. I'm not sure what there was more of. Was there more explosions or more humanoid raping girls? Which kind of makes sense, I guess, because the humanoids are basically trying to take over. So they're killing the men and they're raping the women, because that's how you steal land, right? So back in town, Jimmy sets up a manhunt and he buddies up with Dr. Drake. Which is what? Because I mentioned earlier, Dr. Drake is a woman. She's a doctor / scientist, and it's 1980. What? A strong female character in a movie that came out in 1980? That's so weird. But at the same time, we start noticing like she's kind of in on this whole thing, and it's like, oh, you know what? Then it occurred to me that you could be a woman and have a strong character, and you could even be a black dude and have a pretty strong character. But at some point before the end of the movie, you have to fuck everybody over, you know, like Lando Calrissian in Empire Strikes Back. But it turns out she has sketches of these humanoids that are a little too close to be like, I'm worried the side effect might be this. Like, the side effect might be a drawing that you drew that looks exactly like these creatures that are killing and raping people. That's the side effect. And how are the salmon doing? I haven't seen one salmon in this whole fucking film. So there's a little standoff down by the beach with the humanoids, and they kill a humanoid and find Peggy's body. But it turns out Peggy, you know, Chachi's girl, who he's been trying to fuck the whole time. They find Peggy's body. She's alive. So they take her to the hospital. Ironically, Chachi spent this whole movie before he died trying to have sex with her. And the humanoid score was the first time he met her. I know, that's poor taste, right? But it's true. They take Peggy to the hospital. And then later on, oh, this is the movie I was thinking of, because I did Killer Clowns thinking, well, we're not going to have a fair this year. So I'm trying to find a movie that has a fair feel to it. I was going to do Funhouse, but I've already seen it. I'd never seen Killer Clowns, so it was a good excuse to do it. This movie has a fucking fair in it. And the fair is going, the show must go on. Because now it's at the fair, and that's our final showdown scene. Where the humanoids show up, and it's like all bets are off. This is the finale. This is American Werewolf style finale, even though American Werewolf came out after this movie. But this is that thing where it's like, it's been build up the whole movie. And then it's this final like, oh shit, the creatures are here. I think that might be a budget thing where it's like, we can't have these creatures in every scene because putting people in costume takes too long. And it would just cost too much money to keep remaking them. So the creatures all show up. You don't see them all that much. But they don't look bad. They don't look totally fake, especially for 1980. And I'm not even sure who did the special effects on these. It wasn't like a Tom Savini who was like, oh shit, yeah, I know these are going to be good. It's just some other guy. I should have looked at him. So Hank goes and tries to save a little girl who's like she's like, a humanoid's coming after her. And so he saves the little girl, and then he finds himself like he's fucked because the humanoids got him, and there's only one person that can save him. And guess who it is? Johnny Eagle. And what does Johnny Eagle do? Because Johnny Eagle's got two choices. He can let Hank die, because he should, because Hank killed his dog, tried to blow up his house and kill him, and is trying to turn this into trying to ruin his land and everything he believes in. But Johnny's a noble guy. Johnny gets the Noble Award in terms of like, it's like, I know we have our differences, but you're still a human. I'm going to save you. And Johnny saves him. And Johnny proves Ronald Reagan right. I don't know when Ronald Reagan made this speech. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Ronald Reagan fan or I'm a conservative or anything. I'm saying it because I've heard about this speech before. Because he had said, if an alien species came down and attacked us, we would forget all of our differences and we would help each other. And that's what Johnny Eagle did. I don't know if it's really true because it hasn't happened yet. But the way the world's going right now, we need that alien species to come down and set our priorities straight. And to wrap it up, Peggy's in the hospital and she has an involuntary cesarean baby. It's a humanoid that explodes out of her stomach, setting up the sequel that I don't think ever actually happened. However, they did remake this movie. I haven't seen it. I think it was in '95 they remade it. I have not watched it. This is the first time. This is the first 3 times I've watched this movie. I watched like half of it a while back. But anyway, what do we got? The Gilligan Award goes to Dr. Drake for putting all this scientific shit in the water that instead of creating more salmon, created these rapist, killer, cock-blocking humanoids. What did we learn? Survival tips. Don't shoot flares near gasoline. Don't have sex on the beach. And be honest about the results of the experiments that you're conducting. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe. Share. Also, come follow me on Twitter. Go to Facebook. I have a page on there where I put memes and updates on what's going on. And I don't know, or don't, whatever. See you guys next time. Take care of yourselves.